Greetings everybody, and welcome to Biophile's channel. I'm going to give you a little greenhouse update. I started some plants over here in the greenhouse. Some of them I've got some peach tree seedlings. Got some peach tree seedlings over here. These are some tomatoes that I actually transplanted from other tomatoes, and they've actually been doing much better than the original tomatoes. These are some zinnias I started, and I had some basil in here, but for some reason they didn't come up. They were coated seeds, so maybe they were a little bit old. And I had some tomato seeds over here. They didn't come up, so I don't know what the heck went with that. So I threw some more zinnia seeds in there because the zinnias seem to have done pretty well. And then over here, I've got the peas that I've been growing basically kind of all winter. And then I've got some of the grafted butternuts right here, which honestly none of them seem to be doing okay. But you know, I've never grafted any walnuts before, so I don't really know what I'm doing. So there's some more peas over here. Then look over here, I've got my peppers for the garden, sort of the main garden. And then I've got a bunch of Chinese chestnut seedlings, some more grafted butternuts. I've got this tomato in a pot. This is Sungrow Yugoslav. I'm probably going to go ahead and stick it in the garden. And I've got some more Chinese chestnut seedlings in those two pots. They looked empty, but they're not. You see it right there. There's one coming up. There's another one right there. And this is one of my butternut seedlings. So I had all those butternut seeds. I've got about 4 that are starting to come up. And if you look over here, you can see how big everything is. So this is, I think, oh, I forget. This is Sunset Red Horizon, and then I believe the one behind it is Beefmaster. And so it's gotten really big. It's done some flowering. You can see back here, kind of some possible tomato fruits. I don't know, they're not looking so great. So I'm not sure they're really growing vegetatively really well, but of course this is kind of what happens in a regular garden, is your tomatoes will get pretty big, and then they'll kind of take a little while before they start setting fruit. So we'll have to see how much earlier I get fruits from these. And these are the beets, which I should probably harvest all of. I was going to try again and get some beet seeds. So notice here, this is a flower head that's coming up. There's another one that's starting to flower. Really, they're all starting to flower. And they have been in here since basically last fall. So kind of around October is when I planted them. And they really didn't start getting bulbs until just basically about a month ago, which was kind of nuts. So over here, these are actually Brussels sprouts. But unfortunately in the spring, they just seem to want to flower. So that particular experiment is not great. Because look, we got a nice sprout, but it just started growing instead of staying all bundled up. And I guess that's more towards the fall. So I'll have to do something else as far as Brussels sprouts. I have not cracked that particular nut. And then right here, this is some garlic that I planted in the fall. There's also a few peas that I threw in here, but they really just kind of got overwhelmed by almost everything else. So they didn't do so hot. But the garlic's like absolutely huge. I mean, this is probably about as big as I've ever gotten as far as garlic goes. And then over here you can kind of see the sprouting broccoli, which is still sprouting. I was just kind of letting it go to seed at this point. I'm probably going to rip all of this out soon and put in some squash. So to hopefully, I was going to try and do things a little bit earlier, but that's kind of about the same time I'm going to do the squash in the regular garden. So I didn't really get a jump on that one very well. Partly because it was kind of getting cold. So here's another garlic, also pretty good sized. And here I've got 3 peppers. And this one is apparently Olympus. This one over here is Etuida. So this Olympus, you can see here, got at least the beginnings of a pepper. So, hey, we're doing pretty good. And then I accidentally dropped some beet seeds over there. So I'll probably just pull them up and eat the greens a little bit later. But in general, the greenhouse is doing really well. I mean, it's really full of life. There's just lots of stuff. And I probably need to get some more shelving or tables, maybe some hanging baskets, because I've got a lot of space kind of up at the top. It's not a large greenhouse, but I'm trying to make the best of the space that I have. So if you want to see what happens during the summertime, I'm going to have to leave these doors open. Hopefully I'll get the windows put in the top because they haven't been installed yet. And we'll see how it goes. But so far, it's been quite successful as far as I'm concerned.